Hi, Chad from Chad DIY. In today's video, we are focusing on this brand new xTool F1 Ultra, and we are trying out that embossment feature it now has. Now, the material we're going to use in this video today is going to be slate coasters. Now, a lot of this information can transfer to wood, can transfer to other materials as far as setting up the image and everything. The slate basically today is just going to be for your settings. Now, so these settings are going to be different compared to if you're using wood or whatever. But this kind of niche video a little bit, we're going to focus on that slate. We're going to get all that texture. If you can see that cat, how beautiful it is. And we'll kind of see what works and what doesn't. So let's jump into this video right away. We're gonna go to the software side of things because that's how you get these things set up first. So we'll look at that new xTool software and we'll get it all set up, do some test runs, and hopefully you'll be able to do your coasters just like this by the end of the video. All right, we'll start by opening the xTool Creative Space software here. Now this is an updated version compared to the old style, so the layout's a little differently. You're going to want that updated version to run the F1. So we'll start with a new project over here. And it'll just take a second to get that going. Alright, and we are connected to the F1 Ultra, that's good. Alright, so we're going to want image to emboss. Now, what you're going to want to do is go over this AI thing right here, and we have you get all kinds of different options really. You can go to the laser art or whatever, and kind of choose your image. But what I'm going to want to do is go to embossment now for F1 Ultra. So embossment is right there. So this is the cat we're going to do here. We'll start from scratch just to show you. So I'm going to upload an image. So you can already have your image that you choose. I gotta find it here real quick. And a cat environment color, we'll go with that one. So there it is. We're going to want to keep that same aspect ratio. And once that uploads, now we're going to want to generate. So this is going to generate, it's going to take your image and it's going to generate into a file for embossment. Now you can kind of see it's going to take just a minute to generate. We'll fast forward through this. All right, we got our image ready to go. Now you can go right from this image and you're going to import it right to the canvas, which, yes, let's scale to fit. So that makes it really easy to do. You can just send it right to your project. So this is in a format that's conducive, I guess, to embossment. So we go over to mode, process on flat surface. We want to go to, let's click on this to make sure we're ready to go there. And we're engrave, we want to go to emboss. So once we kind of know what mode we're going to do, I have my slate coaster already loaded up in there. So let's refresh this image. And I'm just going to do some test runs, I guess, first at different speeds, different settings, kind of to see what's going to work best. So we're going to just kind of make this pretty small here to start with. And we'll kind of do this lower here. And if you hit control with the control key on the keyboard, you can zoom in and out. So low tip there for running it. So now we kind of got what we want embossed. Lower, let's go to our settings. So I'm going to be using the fiber, or I guess IR here. Laser, I'm going to go up to 100% power. And let's try 2800 for that. We're going to go descend the z-axis. 0.01 looks good. And yeah, I think those settings are pretty good. So we're going to do a little test run here. And I'm probably going to change the settings. We'll try some different settings and then we'll lock in on which one works the best. And then we'll do a full coaster with those settings. So we'll see how that goes. So let's go over to processing this now. And you can hit start. And now you just go over to the F1 Ultra and you can start from there. All right, so I did 4 different samples here. Now let's see how they turned out. Now this might be kind of hard to see on the camera. Now this one I accidentally went 300 instead of 3,000, so that went really deep. So as you can see, so this is a range between 28 and 3,500 for speed. Now I've used 100% power for all these, so I'm going to keep that set with that. But right around the 3,000 range for speed seems to be the sweet spot. The lower you go with that, the deeper it gets for the embossment. But yeah, probably the 2,800 to 3,000 speed I would recommend for these things. All right, now that we got our settings pretty well dialed in, I'm going to do a full coaster. Now, one of the tricks I learned for doing these coasters, I would say, especially if you're doing a square, you either come in a fair amount and do the square in just the center, or you actually oversize the image to go over the whole coaster. Now, I did some samples previously with some different images, and I was trying to line up the image in the software just like perfectly on the edge. Well, it didn't really line up perfectly, so when I did the actual embossment, some of these edges were still kind of left and it didn't look great. I guess that for some reason I was worried about lasering too much on that metal plate that elevates it, but that really isn't a concern. So just if you want to do the whole coaster, just kind of oversize your image a little bit so it kind of leaks over on the edges. Then you won't have any kind of edges left. So a little tip for doing the coaster. So you kind of do that all the way, or if you just want to do the center part, you just kind of square it off and then it really doesn't matter. It's kind of intentional. But let's do a full coaster of that cat and we'll see how it turns out. So here's that finished coaster. I don't know if you can see how it turned out. It turned out really nicely. It probably would scale back the settings a little bit. This is about 2,600, I think, for speed. I think the 2,900-ish range is what I'm gonna kind of set on for these slate coasters, but it's a little bit of playing game too. And the thing about this machine's so new, there's not really information out on it yet. So that's why I'm trying to provide you the settings and so you can get started a little quicker than I did, not trying to figure it out on my own. So yes, if you do have any questions on this video, on embossment, on the F1 Ultra, please leave them in that comment section below. I'll always try to respond to those comments that I receive. If you're interested in buying one of these F1 Ultras for yourself, I'll provide that affiliate link. Really helps if you're going to buy one. That link will give you the best price. I get a little commission off of it, if you will, and really appreciate that when people do that. So yes, as always, I'm Chad from Chad DIY, and we'll see you on the next one.